What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and this video I want to go over some more news as well as rumors on Scream 7. It seems like the floodgates actually, for the first time ever, lifted this past week, right? We got the first, this stuff was confirmed, like when it's confirmed by Variety or Deadline, it's about as confirmed as it gets. I mean, like Scream hasn't come up, but I mean, when you do it through those publications, it pretty much is what it is, right? So we have another confirmation on that end, right, from like the Deadlines of the world in Courtney Cox, right? So obviously like Sydney's daughter, Cass, Courtney Cox officially back. And then we got two rumors from Daniel RPK, who was the one to break the original stuff anyway. So I feel like that's obviously just the next thing coming. I also think even Beyond the Mast had a rumor that pretty much the entire cast is solidified and they're going to be coming and just announcing them as the weeks go, basically, until we get to January and they start filming. So, the Courtney Cox thing, just really quick. I mean, it feels like it was always assumed. It was always assumed since back like in the spring, maybe even before that. And, it was kind of this off on thing where, she would say things very close to be like, okay, well, obviously I'm coming back, but also like she didn't officially put pen to paper yet, right? So it'll be exciting to see her back. The longest, tenured final girl in all of horror cinema history. So that's in terms of, I guess, how many appearances. So that's pretty cool. But there's not too much to say about it just because it was, number one, by me at least, very much assumed. And number two, it has been like off and on. Although she wasn't like officially signed, you always just assumed it was going to happen. If not, I mean, there were rumors back in the spring that she had already signed. It seems like that obviously was not true, but it was believable enough where, at least I believed it. So that's one. And then we also got two more in terms of Patrick Dempsey, right? That he's very, very close to signing on. So that's interesting that, because if everybody has signed on and he hasn't, but he's very, very close to it, it's like, it must be, I imagine, either money or like scheduling, right? It's got to be one of those two things. I always wonder in terms of, like actually writing the stuff, like the script and all that, if you have him and he is a semi-prominent role, which you imagine he probably would be, you got to get that done. And there might be the belief, in the room or whatever that it's going to happen. That one's pretty exciting, because the Courtney Cox thing, I feel like specifically from him and just like Sydney's like love life, it's been so behind the scenes, even like in canon and in the lore, right? It's been so behind the scenes for so long, where it's like, Scream 4 didn't even really mention anything, and then Scream 5 finally made what fans had assumed / wanted for so long, but was never confirmed. And they actually, again, like pen to paper, they actually like made it happen, right? So and 6, obviously, just her and Mark go into hiding or whatever, and they're not coming to help Sam and company in New York. So that's another one where, with the Courtney Cox thing, it's assumed. With the Patrick Dempsey thing, he's almost like this spiritual entity, right? That kind of exists, but also kind of doesn't, where like he may never actually reappear on screen, but he always kind of exists like in the lore, because that's how they've treated him for so long, right? I mean, if you actually go by, again, like maybe what fans assume, it's been since Scream 3, right? 20 plus years ago, and that's kind of it. And then, he's been around in our thoughts and in the canon's thoughts, but you just have never actually seen him. So that one to me is more interesting. But, we've had the discussion even going back a couple months ago, like, what do you do with him? Do you kill him off? It's tough. That one's a really hard one. There's already theories of like, Sydney's daughter being Ghostface, like if they would do that. I don't know. I feel, there's a line to like Sydney having this like happily ever after eventually. And if you have her husband be killed off, if you have her oldest daughter, I guess, right? If you have her be Ghostface and have to die like that, I don't know if that is like actually having like a happy life. So you do have to be, I think, careful with the family dynamic of Sydney, but that's something obviously I think we'll talk about more as time goes on. And Scream News has the tweet here. It says, joins the cast of Scream 7. He will play Isabel May's character's boyfriend, again, via Daniel RPK. So neither, again, like the Patrick Dempsey thing and this, neither of these are confirmed, but they both come from Daniel RPK, who was like one of the first ones to talk about Courtney Cox. First one, I do think, to talk about that Isabel May before it made the mainstream in like Deadline and whatnot, right? So it is going to happen. I imagine it's going to happen. I don't know. It's the same thing with that Isabel May. I mean, like, this is where you probably don't come to me like for this stunning analysis on these people. I don't watch a lot of movies. I don't watch a lot of TV, and they haven't been in like tons of things, like hundreds of things for me to really know. But you know what? And I have seen this actually online, so I don't think I'm too alone. I do like the new people, right? Like Mason Gooding and Jasmine Savoy and like all these people. I never I did know who Jenna Ortega. I don't even think I knew who Melissa Barrera. I don't think I had seen anything she had ever been in. So, you know, when it comes to like these new people jumping in, or then you have like Liana Liberato or like a Devin Dakota, when you have these people coming into Scream 6, Scream 5, you know, I didn't know who any of them were. So while I do always kind of feel lost and maybe like at a disadvantage versus people, oh, I know who this person is. Oh, this person starred in that movie. They're really good. It is good to know like kind of their acting chops and their background, but I have always, I guess, kind of trusted it. And for the most part, except for like Jack Champion, which I just don't think he's a good actor. I know he's in like Avatar 2 and whatnot, but except for him, for the most part, if I haven't heard of people like going into it, they tend to prove me, well, they tend to actually, I don't have anything to prove, or they don't have anything to prove to me. They kind of just show me, oh yeah, they're good. Like they fit the role that they're kind of, you know, meant to play. Now he does look like a ghost face, you know, for what it's worth. You know, I don't know if that'll end up happening because I don't know. This is gonna resemble a little bit, I think, like Scream 4. So you have like, you know, Emma Roberts. So I don't know, like if you would do that again. So maybe you make like the Trevor type character, which would maybe be him. Maybe you make him the killer this time, even though he was a red herring originally. But that just goes back to like a Stu and Sydney. I mean, there's so many, there's layers because it's a lot of repetition, but kind of done in a fresh way. So I don't know. I mean, he looks like a ghost face. He looks like he could easily like flip the switch and like be evil, right? But we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But pretty exciting. Again, like we're getting very, very close, and you know, there's still more people. You know, you got to officially do the Patrick Dempsey thing, and then you know, like Hayden Panettiere is still, I think, an option that I wonder what happens there, and you still do have to fill out the cast. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.